It's Great to Be Different by Bonnie Eklund and Ashley Vercammen. That's me. These short stories are perfect to spark the conversation of differences among friends. This book addresses skin color, gender norms, and physical and mental abilities. These stories are based on real situations some children have faced and allow the learning to begin at home. It's Great to Be Different. This book is available on Amazon or at ashley-vercammen.ca. Dedications. Amel, thankful every day that your soul chose my soul for this lifetime. Mum. Sarah, thankful to have a sister as kind and thoughtful as you. Ashley. Thank you to all of you who allowed us to include your lovely faces in our illustrations. Ashley and Bonnie. Amel was so excited about his classmate's birthday party. They had talked about it together all week, imagining the fun games they would play and the delicious cake they would eat. But when Amel got to school the next day, he found out that he wasn't invited. Amel felt sad and confused. He played with John at school every day, and he couldn't understand why he wasn't invited to his birthday party. Feeling left out and rejected, Amel approached John and asked, "Can I come to your birthday party?" To his surprise, John replied sadly, "No, my dad said black people can't come." Amel didn't know what to do, so he went to talk to his mum about it. His mum reminded him to treat everyone with kindness, no matter what their skin color. She asked him how it made him feel. "It makes me feel sad," Amel replied. Mum reminded him that he was loved and to always treat others the way he wanted to be treated. "Do you want to invite John to your birthday?" his mum asked. "Of course," said Amel. "John is still my friend." That night, Amel thought about how boring the world would be if we were all the same. If people looked the same, talked the same, and had the same interests, the world would be a very boring place. He realized that differences make people unique and interesting, and it's important to treat everyone with kindness and respect, no matter how different they may seem. In the end, Amel learned a valuable lesson about friendship and acceptance. He realized that true friends accept each other, differences and all, and that it's important to learn from difficult situations. From that day on, Amel made sure to invite all his friends to his birthday party. Sarah. Quack, quack. Sarah was a bright and curious 12-year-old girl with an infectious smile and a love for adventure. But there was one thing that always bothered her, her height. She was always the smallest kid in her class, and it seemed like everyone treated her like a baby because of it. "I will help you. Are you allowed to be here without your mommy?" "Aw, you're so cute." One day, Sarah's class took a field trip to the zoo, and as they were walking around, Sarah accidentally got separated from her group. She panicked, feeling lost and alone in the crowd. That's when she noticed a baby duckling separated from its mother and crying out for help. Sarah knew she had to do something. She approached the duckling and began to speak softly, offering words of comfort and encouragement. To her surprise, the duckling calmed down. Sarah realized that even though she was small, she could still make a big difference. When her class finally found her, they were amazed to see Sarah comforting the baby duckling. They apologized for treating her like a baby and promised to listen to her and take her seriously from now on. From that day on, Sarah felt more confident and empowered. She knew that even though she was small, she had a big heart and a lot to offer the world. Ronan and Riley. Twin siblings Ronan and Riley loved playing together and had a passion for exploring the world around them. One day, they overheard their grandma in the kitchen starting to make cookies. Ronan rushed into the kitchen. "Hey, Grandma, can I help you bake cookies?" he asked excitedly. "No, I'm sorry, Ronan. Baking is for girls." Why don't you go on the tractor with Grandpa? Grandma replied softly. Riley piped up. I want to go on the tractor with Grandpa, she said excitedly. I'm sorry, Riley. Tractors are for boys. Why don't you help me bake some cookies? The brother and sister thought about what their grandma said. That can't be right, Ronan said to Riley. Could you imagine a world where boys could only do boy jobs and girls could only do girl jobs? I know, said Ronan. Let's go to the library and show Grandma that boys can bake cookies and girls can drive tractors. Excited by their ideas, they started to explore different hobbies and interests. Ronan started to read about bakers, teachers, nurses, and more, while Riley started reading about farms, tractors, trucks, and airplanes. Silly kids. Maybe you should trade books, said Grandma as she chuckled. No thanks, Ronan and Riley said at the same time. One day their grandparents came to their house to visit. They were surprised to see Ronan cooking dinner while Riley was practicing her mechanic skills. Their grandparents were surprised, but they could see how happy their grandchildren were doing what they loved. They realized that there was no such thing as boy jobs and girl jobs. From that day on, their grandparents encouraged Ronan and Riley to pursue their passions, regardless of whether they were considered boy jobs or girl jobs. They were proud of their children for defying gender norms and being true to themselves. Kiki. Kiki was a bright and creative girl who loved writing stories and drawing. She also loved to move around in her wheelchair. It helped her go far distances. However, there were times when her friends didn't understand the importance of respecting her wheelchair. One day, Kiki noticed that her friends were using her wheelchair as a toy, pushing it around and pretending to go on an adventure. While she appreciated their enthusiasm, she knew that her wheelchair was not a toy and that it was disrespectful to use it without her permission. Kiki decided to take action and speak up for herself. She gathered her friends and explained to them why it was important to respect her wheelchair. She told them that it was a part of her and that they should always ask for her permission before touching it. At first, her friends were surprised by Kiki's request. But I want to turn, one of her friends said. Kiki thought about it for a moment. My wheelchair is part of me, just like we don't touch someone's glasses or hearing aids. Together, they came up with ways to include Kiki in their games and activities while always asking permission to touch her chair. They started asking Kiki to join them in planning new adventures and making sure their games were wheelchair friendly. Kiki was proud she had spoken up for herself and taught her friends the importance of respecting her wheelchair. She felt more confident and included knowing that she could speak up for herself. From that day on, Kiki's friends treated her wheelchair with respect, always asking for permission before touching it. Hunter. Hunter was a boy who loved to build things. He also had ADHD and was on the autism spectrum. He was especially interested in building boxcars and dreamed of being on a boxcar team. But every year, he was not chosen for the team because of his disabilities. Hunter felt left out and sad. One day, a new boxcar competition was announced, and Hunter decided to enter on his own. He spent weeks working on his car, carefully measuring and cutting each piece. He used his keen attention to detail to make sure everything was just right. On the day of the competition, Hunter arrived with his boxcar all by himself. Some of the other teams laughed and made fun of his car, but Hunter didn't let it bother him. He knew he had built a great car, and he was proud of it. When the race began, Hunter's car took off like a rocket. The other teams were surprised at how fast it was going. As the race went on, Hunter's car kept getting faster and faster. Soon he was in first place. The other teams were amazed. They couldn't believe that Hunter, who they had always seen as different, had built such an amazing boxcar. They apologized for making fun of him and congratulated him on his win. Hunter was thrilled. He had proven to himself and to everyone else that his disabilities didn't define him. He was a smart and talented builder, and he had won the competition all on his own. From that day on, Hunter was no longer left out or excluded. He was respected and admired for his skills, and he continued to build amazing things, always pushing himself to be the best he could be. The end. About the authors. Bonnie is a family nurse practitioner and mom to her favorite little human, who inspired her to write about life around them. She divides her time between Southern California, USA, and Vancouver Island, Canada. When she is not writing or caring for patients, she can be found wandering through nature, hiking, traveling, giving animals hugs, and taking photographs. Ashley Vercammen, that's me, is a children's book author from Saskatchewan, Canada. She enjoys writing and publishing books with the aim of engaging readers of varying language abilities in conversation.